just for a minute. Close your eyes for a second.
Hi, Posh Fam. We're going to quickly get into the talking point that was episode 10 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Before we get into the gist of it, I want to give you my score for this particular episode. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, and we're talking about high-performing episode with everything, the episode that gave that 8, that had all the twists and turns, this particular episode did it for me. Now, I am so surprised that they had to wait 10 episodes, because we are over halfway into the season, to deliver the most performative episode yet. Now, this particular episode will score an 11, and this is on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, the lowest of score and 10 being the highest. And I'm giving them 11 because it tilted over the scale in my rating scale. So I'm living for this episode. This episode was just what we needed, given all the last 9 episodes that came on. So we're going to talk about all that went down. The first bit, we're just going to do some housekeeping, and that is with Kelly's. Kelly's is doing a little bit of mommy makeover with her kids, cooking, planning the week, I guess. There wasn't a lot more to talk about here, more to do with her eldest daughter trying to navigate her studies, as well as fit into the family dynamics that's probably impacting on the children. Kelly's feels that her house is too small. Apparently, they were living in a mansion, with the divorce. They now have had to downsize to a townhouse. And I think she's looking to buy, because from the conversation that happened between her and Angela, I don't know, maybe she's trying to buy something bigger, but we'll get there. We touch base with Brit. Brit, as we all know, has got no storyline. Her storyline is not about family. I will give her something, and that is the fact that she's very creative with her storytelling. She seems like a storyteller. Now, when it comes to low budget storytelling, we'll give her an A there. So yes, she is still talking about her family dynamics. Apparently her husband had a sit down with Cher. Cher is a dramatic and unstable sister, and they are looking forward to her mom moving in. And we all know that the mom sold the house from episode 9, and she's moving in, and apparently the fact that they are nudists in their home, no, I am not against being a nudist, because I am one, and so they feel like the mom might have a bit of a hard time dealing with them walking around the house nude, or how they are going to have to adjust their nudist lifestyle around their mom. But it's, like I said, Brit is a storyteller. On the deep performance level, we'll give her an A there. And so we'll see how this particular drama plays out, if it does, because again, Brit has got no storyline. She is trying her best to give us something. And we are, at this point, she has on our last nerve. She's on our last nerve. She isn't bringing it. She might just have to exit stage left. This season, Angela has literally shattered the table. Previous seasons, we had Sheree, the bone collector. Now, Sheree, you need to just hats off to Angela, because Angela is not only collecting the bone, she is shattering and breaking tables left, right, and center. I'm particularly tagging this episode Chinese Whisper, and you're going to see why I have done so. Because most of the conversation that happened centered around Chinese whispers, the cause and effect of information dissemination, and when the information has been disseminated is not accurately disseminated, the result is drama, chaos, and we are living for it. But before we get any further, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, share this channel with your friends and family, like, comment, and guess what? You might be getting a shout out from me in our next commentary recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, of course. So, this particular episode opened with Shamea having a sit down with Raf. And at first I was like, what is going on here? Why is Raf trying to be shady by meeting up with Shamea? And it got quite interesting, because apparently Raf and Shamea have had a podcast in the past, and now Raf is looking to engage her services in another podcast that he is planning to create. whilst there is nothing, to it, it seems as though Raf is trying to be messy, okay? Raf is trying to be messy to get Shamea involved, and I guess he also would like to get some intel on Shamea with regards to what Drew has said, given they've been filming for a while now. And so it wasn't a surprise for me to see Raf being very messy. That's who he is. He is a messy dude. Now, the good thing that I think Shamea did here was the fact that she invited Porsha. According to her, I'm going to invite Porsha as my witness because I don't want this to be twisted around, and when it's being relayed back, it will be Shamea met with Raf. What are they talking about? And exactly, Chinese whisper. Because as we all know, the meaning of Chinese whisper is when one information that is passed from one person to another gets slightly distorted each time the message is relayed to the next person. You're going to see why I'm tagging this Chinese whispers. Now, I have to give Angela her flower. We have seen this woman carry this particular season, 10 episodes in. Angela is the MVP, period. This woman has just every drama, like the plot twists, the whatever you call them, climax, that's Angela. So we know the last episode ended with Angela and Shamea not able to agree on the conversations surrounding Porsha making a derogatory statement about having an intimate relationship, about wanting to have an intimate relationship with Angela's husband, Charles. Now, Shamea, found it amusing, and so Angela sort of called her out for that behavior as, someone who is not able to clap back when her friend does the wrong thing. So in this particular episode, we see Porsha coming in and trying to engage Raf by saying, "Oh, Raf, what's going on? I hear your ex is trying to have intimacy with my baby daddy." And she then brought out the text message, which again was way out of context, because I think Dennis has actually cleared the air that whatever Porsha is thinking is not exactly what is happening. And so according to Porsha, because we have to be mindful of how information that's been disseminated and distorting and slightly embellishing of storyline just to make it seem more dramatic than it is. So she basically told Raf that Drew offered sexual favors, if I can use that word, on YouTube for her as payment for the music she is making with Dennis. And then Dennis was like, no, I don't want to do that with you. Rather, I want you to run me my check. Now, this is just 3 lines from, I'm pretty sure, a conversation thread. And so for Porsha to pick these 3 lines or 2 lines and blow it out of proportion tells you what it needs to tell you. She is extra. She is trying to create drama with Drew. She is trying to destroy Drew's character. And then I think they tried to get Raf to confess to infidelity. Well, Raf is a pathological liar. Dude flat out denied ever having any extramarital affairs and pretty much roped in another individual in the name of Ty. Now, we saw Ty last season. Was it last season? Where during Drew's run-of-mill pub crawl with her, with the plans to, release Going to Music, Ty was a feature. Ty was present. Now Ty is a female. She's a female, I think, women basketball player, and she is gay, if I'm not mistaken. And so we actually thought maybe Drew was swinging or attempting to delve into the lady pond. But according to, again, Chinese whispers, it appears they were friends, because Basketball Wives is currently shooting, and Mingli from Basketball Wife is having a conversation with Ty. I think they're dating, if I'm not mistaken. And Ty has flat out claimed to say, man, Drew is a friend. I was there for her. I was offering her emotional support. That's exactly what I was, and that's exactly what it is. There's nothing to write me about. Well, Raf has, admitted, said otherwise. So we don't know exactly what it is. It's So ironic that this particular episode aired right at the same time the Basketball Wife episode aired, with Mingli and Ty having a conversation regarding Drew. So Drew is hot and trending, and I hope she makes good with this particular publicity. Publicity, as they say in Hollywood, is good publicity. Run her music, download her music. The Lulu sort of seems very appropriate to what is going on right now surrounding her relationship drama and dynamics. Now, we did get to touch base with Drew. Drew has obviously heard what happened with Shamea during the date or sit down with Ralph, and so she had a session with her counselor. Now, this particular counselor is a veteran of this particular franchise because he's been with most of the other ladies, counseling them, guiding them like a life coach of sorts. So she sort of relayed most of the dramas with this particular coach, who then, told her to just not sweat the small stuff, pretty much. It's, just see it as one of those wins that come, and you are going to be stronger for it, and you're going to learn a few lessons along the way. And I guess, it's a hard time. She's going through a divorce, and her friendship circle is in disarray. She is trying to manage the rumors, the lies, the allegation, and also she's been dropped from Go Naked Hair, because I know she was an ambassador for Porsche's brand Go Naked Hair, and here she is being dropped. Now, Porsha did confirm with Raf that because of the relationship, or should I say the business relationship with Dennis, she has decided not to go forward with her business partnership with Drew on the Go Naked Hair. I would say one thing: the girls did something good. They ate as much as their stomach could contain, and Ralph was left with the bill. So there you go. Now we move on from this particular sit down to Angela having a conversation with Porsha. Now, so Angela did invite Porsha, but before Angela invited Porsha, we saw Kelly's coming over to one of her investment properties. So we all know Angela is into real estate. So according to Angela, she's got 5 investment properties that's currently on the works. She's about to list a few of them. According to her, she is neck deep in debt as a result of trying to flip these properties. Good on Angela for trying. I mean, you can only progress in life if you don't take, should I say, calculated risk. So with real estate, you really can never go wrong. You borrow, you're hoping to make a few profits when you flip. The only thing is you cannot determine the market and the time at which you sell. And so we see here Kelly's coming to sort of look at the property, as well as have a debrief session with Angela with regards to all that's been going on. And well, Kelly didn't give the property a good review, but I thought it was more superficial for Kelly because Kelly just cannot afford that property. So of course you can afford it. What are you gonna do? Knock it down. But during this particular conversation, we could see that Angela wanted to address a few things with Kelly, and that was about the rumor surrounding Charles and the illegitimate child that's been floating around. She cleared the air to say it was a miscommunication. It was a misunderstanding. For some reason, there was an altercation between her and Wendy from her time past. And this particular communication or conversation led Wendy Williams to think that Charles was the one that had fathered the child out of wedlock with Angela, not knowing that Angela's first daughter's dad was actually the one that had a kid out of wedlock. So let's just say again, Chinese whisper, you tell me one thing, by the time I move the information to the next person, I have slightly distorted the truth. And that's exactly what is happening here. I guess Kelly's had to apologize for the fact that she misunderstood, and also try and change the narrative to suit her and Brit's best interest during the Junior party at Cynthia's. So it's quite clear that Angela is sort of, trying to let the two men know, man, if you're gonna talk about me, come to me directly. Why don't you, whatever rumors you hear, I'd rather you come to the horse and find out for yourself what time it is. And if you feel like you haven't gotten clarity, then you can run away with the story. But here, there was no blood loss, or no, I guess there wasn't any beef to squash. They are in good standing. And the next sit down with Angela is Porsha. Now, again, it's still one of her listed property that's up for listing. And according to Angela, she says she was not going to be inviting Porsha to her home because of, her track record. You invite her to your home, she meets your husband, the next thing you know, your husband is telling you, I don't want anyone, I want to go with her. So I guess, Porsha has actually said she wants to do ciao. So she's in the right to say, man, I'm going to be wary of this woman, giving you a record, giving what you are, giving who you are, giving what you've said. I'm going to not want you in my house. They were, I think, team tagged with her daughter to play tennis. And it was during the sit down that a conversation was had, and that was in relation to Shamea. Now, most of the drama that is happening on this show is actually happening behind the cameras, and it's giving us a little bit not enough to go with, because the juicy part, we want it on camera, not us addressing it after the fact. We need everything on camera so we can always go back and say, yes, we saw it, this is what happened. So when you're transmitting misinformation, or you have sort of slightly distorted the story, we can always refer. Girls, haven't you learned anything? Anyway, there were 3 issues that Angela raised that she said Shamea is sort of upset about. One was the fact that Shamea got married in Africa, in Kenya to be precise, and Porsha did not attend or gave a flimsy excuse, which we found out the excuse she had given Shamea was not the excuse she gave the second time. Oh my God. The next one was, I think it had to do with the fact that Porsha, laughed at her music. And I think the third one had to do with the fact that Porsha did not consider Shamea a worthy housewife. So now I am on the fence, because this conversation happened during the listening party between Drew, Angela, and Shamea. And this is where she said the conversation happened. I actually feel, now again, Chinese whispers, as you would say, did Shamea share most of this? Yes. Did she share that she was scared to bring it up to Porsha? Not necessarily. Porsha is going through a divorce, and I'm sure she would have said, I would not want to share that now because I feel like the relationship dynamic between me and Porsha is always me giving and not receiving. So the relationship is sort of one-sided. So I would wait until she's in a good place so that I can be able to tell her in a way that it is well received. I guess that is exactly what Shamea said, or along that lines. We will never know. That is why I want it on camera. And Angela translated this to be that Shamea is scared of Porsha. Porsha got up crying, didn't want to address it, felt like, if there was any issues, Shamea should have come to her instead of going behind her back and having conversations, with other friendship or with other girls in the group. Do I think Shamea did the right thing? Yes. No. Maybe. We will never tell. It's been said. It is what it is. Do I think Porsha is overreacting? Yes, and you're going to see why, because he blew out straight up at the Pampa by Porscha's event launch. So it's quite interesting how she heard the story and felt, this is too much. And then there was a conversation that has to do with Pilar's college fund that Drew made fun, it said in a joke, in a fun light shade. According to how it was relayed again, my guys, Chinese whisper, Shamea probably relayed it as, I don't know, because Porsha then said it felt like Drew was trying to say she is not a good mother, or she's trying to pay her daughter's college fund. That wasn't exactly how it came across, because when she then relayed this to Angela, Angela said that was not how it came across. It came across as a light shade. There wasn't any mean-spirited intentions with that. And here we are. There is nowhere to, you have to have these women sit down and communicate with each other, not across the table from one end to the other. By the time it gets back to the person, there's a few lies embellished and it's not well received. People are upset and it's leading to chaos, which we love, because I want the chaos, because that's why I'm able to give you a good rundown of events that happened in this particular episode. And in this particular episode, Angela just literally lit a matches, sat down and watched the whole place ignite. That is how much she has tried to make or hold the ladies accountable for their actions. She's literally on everyone's behind. Like, if you say something, you have to own it, you have to defend it, you have to stand by it. I'm not going to I'm not going to hold anything on your behalf. I'm going back and letting others know what you have said. Now, it all came to a head on the final scene, which happened or held at the Pampered by Porsha's event. Now, before we get into the chaos proper, I just want to say this. I know the event host passed, and this particular event, if I'm not mistaken, is Porsha's cousin Lodin. I remember vividly, I think it was last year when the news broke that her cousin Lodin was no longer, on earth. And to actually see what she has created, her work, on a big platform as the Real Housewife of Atlanta, for us world over to watch, testament to who she was. And I don't know this lady from anywhere, but I hope her soul continues to rest in peace. So very quickly, the girls arrived. I think they were meant to be dressed in their lingerie. And with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, this woman's behind are as big as the Atlantic Ocean. So having them on a lingerie was quite revealing, if I could say the least. Now, Shamea, I have to give her, she literally goes off with her, style and dress sense. She has the best clothes, the best shoes, the best bag, and she is happy to display. And she got the body yaddy, to show off what she wears. Drew is another, low undercover gorgeous woman, and we don't give her credit enough. She looked really fabulous in the lingerie like outfit that she wore. And also Angela is, she is matured and she carries herself really, really elegantly. Brit and Kelly's, drove together, arrived, and it was during this particular drive session we saw Brit recapping to Kelly's about the dynamics at play within her household, and that's to say that her mom was moving in and her husband is having a kumbaya moment with her sister, who is, again, like I said, allegedly unstable. Now we get to the fun proper. So whilst Porsha was introducing her, collections, I think she's gone on to do bed sheets, pillow, cushions, quilts, everything, you name it, Porsha is doing it. Now, I think Drew wasn't sure exactly, if they're getting paid for this free promo. Well, Drew, just suck it up and just take one for the team. Okay? This is not a time to whinge or get your rep involved. Just suck it up and take one for the team, because Porsha is literally going to use and abuse this particular friendship group. Cynthia was present, because Cynthia is always absent when chaos is about to ensue, but this time Cynthia was front and center. Now Lauren, who's Porsha's sister and assistant, was hosting the Namaste meditation ceremony. But before we get to that, Kelly's quickly pulled Shamea aside, and this is where Chinese whisper literally reigns supreme. Now, Kelly's was trying to bring Shamea up to speed with all that has happened, conversation that's happened behind her back, the fact that Angela had to sit down with Porsha, the fact that Angela had to sit down with Drew and her to talk about what she said to Porsha, and the fact that Porsha left crying, But, I think the way Kelly's relayed this particular story, it was more like Kelly's was expressing her own thoughts and feelings with regards to the matter, not exactly how it was said. And this is classic Chinese whisper tale. She literally riled Shamea up. And so what would have been a get-together, kumbaya meditation, a namaste-like feast and girls group hanging out, turned into anything but meditation. And I am surprised that Porsha did not, prior inform Shamea that this is what she's heard, or let them have a talk. She literally did not, because she had days to sit on the information Angela passed on to her. And the fact that you couldn't call your friend to have a side moment together to address some things speaks volume, because you left crying. You left like you were hurt and terrible, and you felt so sad by this particular friendship breakup or friendship should I say mistrust, and here you are not even calling your friend to address it. And so you literally, it was more like an ambush for Shamea, because Shamea did not know that her friend had been privy to all the conversation that had happened. And, you know, she came in, and as soon as Kelly told her that was the end of it, because she really wanted to address it. She didn't know how to address it, or she was waiting for the perfect time to address it. That again shows who Shamea is. The friendship again was very lopsided. It was more, she was tending to all of Porsha's feelings more than Porsha was tending to her feelings. And it is clear as day that Porsha, quite frankly, is jealous of Shamea's lifestyle. I mean, Shamea literally married a very wealthy African man. And once that happened, Porsha went and found herself a not so available African man who we don't know, or his wealth is still very much in question. Okay? And with the fact that Porsha has, the way she ran into the relationship, she ran back out so fast, and Shamea is thriving, has now come on the show where she was, you know, anchoring or and taking her space, sort of. Porsha is not liking this. And so we can see how all of this animosity and jealousy was just bubbling on the surface. Bubbling. And so during the meditation, Khalees ran again to Shamea to say, why are you not meditating? And Shamea was like, I am meditating. Like, you just told me something and you expect me to be meditating and kumbaya and that. I don't feel the meditation's vibe. I don't feel the girl circle. And we could hear Porsha trying to shush them to stop, and I think that was when things went really left, because they had to then address all that's happening. Started with a friendship circle where you all have to share what you're feeling about someone. Angela quickly wanted to reiterate that she has forgiven Porsha for the snide comment she made about her marriage and her husband, and all is well with the world. Porsha accepted her apology and was hoping for a good friendship going forth. And I think it gave the space for Shamea to share, to say, I did not know that this is how you've been feeling, or we've been having conversations has been happening. And I think Angela was like, well, we feel like you are scared to share your feelings with Porsha, and we would like you to address it. And we sort of, you know, nudged you, and hence the reason why we are addressing it. And I guess the three major concerns for Shamea, which they only addressed two, and that was to do with the fact that Porsha didn't really want her to be featured as a housewife on the same platform as hers. She gave the excuse of the fact that Shamea's husband didn't want to film. But regardless, you are not exactly supporting your friend to, should I say, earn a paycheck like you are earning, or outshine you, as it were. And this is why I don't keep friends, guys. Female friends are your worst nightmare. I said it. Come on the comment section and argue if you think otherwise. I ain't got one. I don't have the time for drama. I don't have the time to listen to your apology after the fact. And I, quite frankly, don't have the time for conflict resolution. It is draining. It's a headache. I just want to be by myself. And so when you do something to me, save it. You're already lying. Whatever you did was who you are the first time. And they piggy back and forth to say, oh, no, there's no time for that. Just be careful. Ride solo. Be like me. Well, I think this is where Shamea was taken aback, or I quite frankly would say there was a reality check, because according to Shamea, the reason why Porsha did not attend her wedding in Kenya was the fact that Porsha said she was sick. Now, Porsha then said, oh no, the reason I didn't attend your wedding was because we were at odds at the time. We were not on speaking terms. This was news to Shamea, who had no idea that the reason why her friend didn't attend her Kenyan wedding was the fact that her friend did not, was not seeing eye to eye or did not dig her at the time. And guys, we have just started to witness the breakdown of a 20-year friendship. As Cynthia said it best, I do not like the way this particular franchise breaks up friendship. We will continue from here next week. Thank you so much for listening to my recap and my crazy opinions. Again, what do you think? I know there's a lot going on the internet, and that's in particular with the PDD trial that's already on. Unfortunately, I don't think I want to talk about it just yet. I don't really have anything to say because I'm not really following it. I have to be up at odd hours to literally follow this particular trial. And PDD ain't paying me. No one is paying me to do all of that extra job. But if you feel like having a thought on it, comment down below. I might do something. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you here on the same space. Again, you are deserving. Stay safe and be blessed. Bye-bye.